You maintain that there are three kinds of enemy mode. What are these kinds of enemy mode?
Yeah, well, the most obvious one you kind of alluded to a little earlier, and that's when we get stupid. We say and do things that are harmful. I found out really quickly talking to married couples that got into enemy mode with each other. If they got stupid, someone would start destroying whatever it was that was of value. So, when you throw something in the room, when you break something, you don't break randomly the least valuable thing. You go and break something that the other person values. And then afterwards you regret it and you go like, So, and when we get mad, we say something, we actually pick out the thing that we think will be most hurtful. And then afterwards we thought, oh man, I hope no one had their phone out and videotaped that. And so this was like what most people can recognize. That's a high intensity state. But the other one that causes a whole lot of damage is simple enemy mode. In that case, I just don't respond to you like you're a human. I don't anticipate you're going to be on my side. So I start treating you as a non-relational something or another right from the start. So as soon as you walk in, it's like, oh, I don't want to connect with you. Now, if I thought you were going to be my ally or my friend, I'd immediately, my eyes would light up. I'd go like, oh yeah, hey. But why is it as soon as I see you, I go like, don't want to have anything to do with this person, which is more than just indifference. It's already predicting this person isn't going to be on my side. So your brain is making a prediction ahead of time that sort of poisons the whole interaction. And, frankly, it's pretty easy to do that with people even that like, why are you here to irritate me? All it takes is a certain name to pop up on my cell phone. It's like, why are they calling? So that's the second kind. And then the third kind is intelligent enemy mode. And that's when somebody is actually out to get you and they're using their intelligence. They didn't just blow up, but they're thinking about it all day long. Like, I'm going to, get my revenge on this person, or I'm going to beat them at something. And that's what politicians chronically do. And then that made it real interesting talking with Ray, because, he's coming from the military and you're supposed to find our enemies and make them lose. And so he kind of came into this whole book writing project thinking, I think sometimes that's necessary. And the thing, that I came into it was more from a closer to a pacifist, position. Saying, we're actually supposed to build relationships with everybody in the world. That would be the best way to protect us from becoming enemies, would be if we form good relationships. And, he's looking at protecting us from, well, what do you do when things actually go wrong? And then you get a Hitler or something like that going in that you actually want to have lose so that you can protect people. And it made a really good tension trying to write the book.
Well, having a pacifist and a retired brigadier general, I would think would make a very interesting secret sauce.
Yeah, it certainly would. Yeah. And then he's trying to solve the problem. Well, how do I get all Christians and leaders to actually participate in this? And I'm trying to figure out at the same time, well, how does the brain actually do things? And because the science has not been developed very well. And so that's why the book, as he mentions, has a good deal more technical details than the average, because we're actually trying to explain, I think for the first time in any written material, how the brain actually does this.
Well, I think that because it's such a new concept, but as soon as you say it, I think people get it. There was a movie in the 80s called Short Circuit, where there was this robot. He had been trained to be an enemy. And of course, something happens and he becomes this kind of kind robot, but something would trigger him and his lenses would go really narrow fast, and he would have a laser that would come out, and he was in enemy mode. And I immediately, that image came into my mind.
Ooh, that's a good one.
When you had that, was this Johnny Five, he'd gone into enemy mode, ready to fight. And I thought, how many people are like that today? It's everywhere that I turn. I was reading the book in the afternoon, and I'd been reading it the day before, and we came home from church, and I had been teaching a class, my wife and I had driven separately for different reasons with our kids, and we pulled into the driveway together, and I'm waiting for her to say hi, and she gets out of the car and she goes, "I'm mad at you." I mean, and I had said something in class that did not represent really what she had said or felt. And we had this discussion, and I noticed that in this discussion, it went immediately from being pleasant to see her migrated into the bedroom when the door was shut and our voices were becoming tense. And I recognized immediately, wait, I'm going into enemy mode.
She doesn't feel like she's on my side when she said, "I'm mad at you."
Yeah. Well, at first I was like apologizing. Well, then I got defensive because I felt she had understood my position. She felt like I didn't understand hers. But when I recognized the enemy mode, I started to de-escalate. I remained relational, maintained eye contact. And then after it got done, I was so happy. I went, I just came out of enemy mode.
I tell you, it is a victory, especially with people we care about. It's like, whoa, no damage done. Whew.
Well, then
missed a bullet there.
Well, then immediately my 9-year-old son started crying, and I went in to rescue him from enemy mode. And I'm like, this is awesome.
Oh, yeah.